Okay, new business, discussion on the process and duties of the Louisville Municipal Planning Commission. Jordan, I think I want to, I guess before we get into these items, Jordan provided notes to each one of them, so you guys can have that from our town planner as he tries to address things that are on the agenda as well. So that item was asked by Mary to, I guess, confirm a little bit of some of the stuff we talked about, but more clarity. So, all right, Mary, you're welcome to.
And let me just make sense to you. I get ready to hand these out. What I'm getting ready to talk about is unpleasant, and there's going to be some people that probably don't like what we're getting ready to talk about. But I came in to understand that we've had some traffic, some email conversations going on, some things that happened that disturbed me greatly because it involves violating the law. And so I'm going to talk about that tonight because I'm in agreement with Haley and everybody else that we should be following the law in everything we do. We have no personal opinions, preferences, desires, wants, wishes, whatever. We're here to call balls and strikes. Does it meet the law, the letter of the law? Does it not? I'll give you one, Jordan. And if it doesn't meet the letter of the law and what we have in our ordinance in Tennessee state law, then it doesn't pass. If it meets it, it passes. Because we don't have personal preferences. So, having said that, and like I said, this is an unpleasant conversation tonight. So that extra one must have miscounted somewhere. Anyway, so you have a briefing packet in front of you, and you have a packet of emails. So I'm just going to jump in. So the problem is, starting back as far as September 3rd, when the revised site plan submittal was sent from Sterling Engineering to our town planner with CC to Barry Ottinger to come before the Planning Commission. There were some unilateral decisions made that denied that submittal from coming to the Planning Commission, which is a violation of state law and of our ordinance. The folks that were involved in these email strings that made these decisions, nothing personal to anyone, but it was our Planning Commission chair and our town planner made that decision. Again, violation of Tennessee law. There's a couple of them we talk about. And it's also a breach of contract with the contract we have with East Tennessee Development District on what our town planner does. It is for local planning advisory services only. Our town planner has no decision authority whatsoever. The sad thing about all of this is this went on for 42 days. And we're going to talk about why that's important. This places the town of Louisville into the risk for litigation, for which we should never find ourselves here because we did not follow Tennessee law. Cut and dry. So had we followed the law, we wouldn't be having this conversation tonight. So I'm just going to run through the timeline of what happened here, the basic high points. And then we can talk about go to the next charts and talk about the different laws that apply and what the issues are. So on September 3rd, the plan was submitted. It was a revised plan, described as a revised plan, submitted for the Planning Commission to hear. On September 8th, Planning Commission chair and the town planner denied the plan to be heard by the Planning Commission in writing back to Sterling Engineering and to the builder lot owner for that. On September 11th, the client's attorney sent a letter to the town of Louisville, which came to the town planner, the building official, and to the Planning Commission chair. The client's attorney specifically laid out where there are violations, there's the law and the requirements of the law as it relates to that. Those were ignored. And nothing happened. So we didn't follow the law, and the law required us at that point in time that we had to place that site plan on the Planning Commission's agenda within 30 days of having received that submittal. That was September 3rd. We had until October 3rd to get it on the agenda for the Planning Commission to hear without violating law. We didn't do that. September 16th was the next Planning Commission meeting. It did not make the agenda, although we had time to make that agenda. September 17th. Well, in between that, and I don't have it on this major timeline, but let me just kind of back it up. In between that, there was discussion going on internal to Planning Committee Chair, the administrative assistant, the attorney, our attorney, town's attorney, and the town planner about what should we do. Basically, I'm going to summarize. Our attorney informed us that we have to give them the opportunity to have this placed on the agenda of the Planning Commission. They could do so by one or two options. They could either choose, and then when we say that, we're talking about the individual who submitted those plans were submitted by and his attorney. They had two options. They could either wait until the October meeting, or they could request a special meeting to be called. The client's attorney and client requested a special meeting to be called and specifically requested October 2nd. Had we had that meeting, we would not have violated 30 days required by law. Again, the PC chair denied that meeting request. So October 2nd didn't happen. So we waited, violated the law, and waited until October 21st to hear that claim. At that meeting on October 21st, and you recall, we had a lot of conversations about that. Because there were a couple of us on the board that didn't hear the original claim, didn't have the information, but we didn't get to go into that discussion and look at the packages. We were going to have a vote and either to approve it or deny it. And so it forced some of us sitting on this planning commission to abstain from that vote because we didn't have the information and we were not afforded the opportunity to have discussion on that package. So going into the second chart real quick, applicable laws are on page 3. It shows you 2 Tennessee state laws that we violated. One, that the Planning Commission has the authority to approve, deny, review, etc., anything that is required to be brought before it. The Planning Commission was denied that opportunity. The other is the fact that the Tennessee law requires it to be on the agenda of the Planning Commission 30 days from the day it was submitted, or at the next regularly scheduled Planning Commission meeting after the 30-day period. So there's several town ordinances we violated as well. That's listed here. Matter of fact, there's like 5 of them that we violated of our own ordinance. So I go back to, in the next series of charts you're going to have are the backgrounds and discussions about what folks said on email about this whole thing. What's disturbing to me is that we had the opportunity to do the right thing on September 11th when the attorney's letter came to the town of Louisville, and the attorney explained that there's Tennessee law and our own zoning ordinances that are telling us we can't deny this. But we didn't listen to that, and we didn't ask our own attorney. We dug our heels in, and we denied it. We just kept moving on and didn't get it on the agenda for September 16th. Unfortunately, as we kept going through time, we did the same thing basically. As we kept going through time, and it wasn't until September 15th, which made it within the 48 hours to we would have violated that requirement to get it on the agenda because we didn't have 48 hours. There was only one entity throughout this whole email string that went on that tried to do the right thing, and that was Haley. Haley reached out to our attorney on the 15th of September and asked for guidance. And you see it on the here in the blue. That's exactly what was in that email, what was said. She's the only one that reached out to our attorney for guidance to understand what needed to be done. Our attorney gave her that guidance and told her, yes, it has to get on the agenda within 30 days. They have two options, special called meeting or the next scheduled meeting in October. Haley went back to the client's attorney and explained to them, here's what our attorney said. Which one would you like? Would you like a special called meeting or would you prefer to wait until the October meeting? The client's attorney came back and advised that, well, let me back up before that. Before they came back, our town planner went back to Haley and questioned her about was she talking to the client's attorney, and the decision whether to put it on the October agenda or have a special meeting is the PC chair's decision, not the client's attorney, which was wrong. So after that, then we have another comment here. Miss Haley responded, and this is quote, Rob told me that it is up to them since we are supposed to hear it within 30 days of submission, and we have not. He told me to ask them if they wanted to have a special meeting or if they were okay to do it at the October meeting. What bothers me is we're questioning again what our own attorney is saying, not just the client's attorney, but our own attorney, what our own attorney is saying. And then after that, later that afternoon on the 17th, the attorney came back and said they wanted October 2nd for a special called meeting. That was at 4:29 that afternoon. At 6:24, our planning committee chair responded back to Haley with the CC to our attorney that said, unless Rob says a special called meeting is required, we should put their request on a regular October meeting. Once again, we denied the client the opportunity. They asked for an October 2nd meeting, and we denied them another meeting again. We violated the law again. So after that, our own attorney answered back to the client's attorney the next day in the morning and said it was announced at the Planning Commission meeting. It will be on the agenda for the next meeting, which is scheduled for October 21st. I don't recall that being in the minutes in September. It wasn't discussed in September. So I don't know where that came from. Haley, do you have any insight where that comment from our attorney came from? Because I don't.
The only thing I can think of is when Barry mentioned that Patrick might be bringing it back, but it wasn't ever announced that it would be on the agenda. He told me, Rob had said that he had a phone call, and I don't remember if it was with Kent or if it was with Jordan,